Love this display of pumpkins around a vintage truck. It is definitely fall. Welcome to A Motley Art. My name is Catherine, and I have two layouts that I'm doing today that are 6x6, and I am using pictures that I took when I went to sort of a pumpkin patch at a nursery. And I love pumpkins. I love the look of them. I like the taste of them. To me, nothing says fall like more than the pumpkin patches starting to pop up everywhere. And it just reminds me so much. We used to go to a pumpkin patch at an orchard every year when I was growing up, and it was just a lot of fun. And we'd pick our pumpkins that we were going to later turn into jack-o'-lanterns. I don't do that anymore. I never really was great at the carving, so I just like to go and kind of see them. So it's kind of nice when you have nurseries that do some of the pumpkin patch type stuff, and you can kind of go see how they have things arranged and also see the flowers that are in bloom right now. I live in the southeast in the United States, so we do have some flowers like pansies that are fall flowers, and so they bloom through the fall, and so you can kind of see what's available. And it was just kind of a fun day. So I am making a couple of easy layouts by using the project cards for the pumpkin spice collection, along with papers that came from the pumpkin spice collection from Close to My Heart. If you want a little bit more information, you can go to my description below and check out the information I've put there. I did trim down these cards. They are 4x6, and I trimmed them down by about 1/4 of an inch so that they would give a little bit of a border, wouldn't go edge to edge. I like that look better than having just the full 4x6 card down. I loved these cards. There's so many cute things in these cards, but I really liked how the orange one had a nice little sentiment kind of down there, and I loved the pumpkin on the other card, so I decided we're going to go ahead and use this for this 2-page layout. And as you can see, I did not use the same background paper for both pages, and you really don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. It's not like there's this rule that you can't do a 2-page layout with 2 different background background papers. I do think that plaid would make a beautiful fabric, don't you? I think it would be great. Let me know how you think about these particular colors and these color combinations in the comments below, because I will say the orange and that peachy pink I really wasn't sure about for a while when I first was putting this together, but there's something about it that just works. I would not normally have picked this if these colors weren't part of the collection, but because it was in the collection, I was like, I'm going to trust the designers at Close to My Heart, and I'm going to try it. And I love the way that everything comes together at the end, and I think they do actually work really well together. So I did cut my pictures down to a little less than 3x3. I think they're like 2 7/8, and then the cardstock I cut down to 3x3, and I did 2 of those, and then I offset the one in the back and then put the other one straight. I just thought this was kind of fun. It gave it a little bit more interest. And then I also popped it up on some scrap chipboard, which is a cereal box. I like to try to get some use out of those cereal boxes by using them in this way. I originally was trying to see if I wanted 2 chipboards thicknesses, because cereal boxes are about, I would say, a lightweight chipboard. So I was kind of seeing if I wanted more of a medium, but I decided that was too high. I just wanted to give it a little elevation, one, so I can kind of tuck some stuff underneath of it, but also it just kind of makes the picture seem a little bit more important because it's raised up towards you. So now I'm going to make some clusters, and for these 2 layouts I decided to cut a lot of things ahead of time instead of showing it in the video. So I went and stamped these flowers on the papaya paper, but on the lighter side. And then I took a little bit of the papaya ink and went around the edges. That way I could get a little bit of shadowing very easily. And I just love how these came out. I think they're so pretty, and I think they coordinate really nice with everything else that's going on. And then I also cut out some wreaths. I have a little wreath die from Lawn Fawn that I used, and I cut those out. And then I had a paper pack, and I don't even remember what it was anymore. I mean, I know it was a fall paper pack, but I don't remember the name of it. I used it up, but I had a couple of things from it. I had some of the stickers, and I had a couple of cutouts of these little owls, and I just held on to them because I just thought they were so cute. And I'm like, I'm going to find a way to use these again. And I thought that it just worked with this layout. I know there's no owls in my pictures. I don't care. I will put owls on anything, no matter what's in the picture. I know there's goats in my pictures, but I didn't have any little goats. I had some little owls, so I went ahead and used that. But I made the stickers into flare by using a sticky epoxy sticker on top of them. And I really love how this gives that some extra shine. It gives it some extra depth to what I'm doing. So I decided that I wanted to basically do kind of two large clusters because I felt like the 4x6 project cards, because they both had something at the bottom of them, it kind of felt like that was a bit of a cluster on its own. That's kind of how I felt about it. That's kind of the feeling I got from it. So I decided I just wanted to build two other clusters instead of doing three large clusters. I really think it came out together very nicely. I think it gives good movement to the layout and really brings your eye around everywhere onto the layout. And for me, that's the goal, is to move your eye around so you take in everything. So as you can see here, I was just kind of putting little bits of glue as I built that little cluster up of the flowers and the little owl, and then I stuck that down. Now, there is some loose sequins that I got with this collection, and they had these leaves in there that I really liked. So I'm going to actually attach those down with brads, but I placed them around the clusters because I just wanted to kind of have an idea of where I wanted those to go, so I can make sure that I didn't put something on top of that area and then kind of mess up my design. So I'm the kind of person that I really need to visually put things down and see it, not just have it in my head thinking about it, because sometimes there's things that look beautiful in my head, but then when I put it down, it just doesn't quite work out the same. So that is what I do all the time. And that cluster with the flare, I just felt looked a little sparse. Like it just needed something else to go with it. So I cut some of the cardstock, that's the shortbread cardstock, and made it looking like a little ticket, and then just kind of put it back there. And I just think it helped to ground it so nicely. And so then I took some of the paprika and did the same thing. And this was more of a scrap, so I just took it the way the size was. I didn't measure it or anything, and I just made it into a ticket, and then I added it over here. But then of course, even though I had turned it over to be on the lighter side, I had cut the wreath with the paprika as well. And I did think that they blended too much together. It wasn't enough contrast for me. So I put the shortbread wreath that I cut out there instead. And I really like that for a couple of different reasons. I didn't really have any of the shortbread color over on this side of the layout. So when these two are next to each other, it really helps to bring them together. It helps to anchor them. And see, I only use the harbor on the left side layout with the truck, and then I have just that one bit of shortbread on the right side, but everything kind of flows together. Of course, the project card on the left side does have harbor green as well, so I guess those do coordinate like that. But once I had made that ticket edition, I just really liked the way those clusters looked. I thought they looked really nice. And so I just went ahead and started sticking everything down. I am going to add a couple more elements after I get all this stuff stuck down. But these were the big pieces that I wanted to put. So I wanted to get that down first before I started doing some of the finishing touches as I see it. So this nursery has goats and chickens as well. It's kind of a very interesting spot local to where I live. So I just couldn't help. I just had to take some pictures of the goats because they were just climbing all over those rocks, and I just thought it looked really fun. So I took a picture, and I did print these out with my Canon selfie, and I was able to use a collage maker so that they originally were 3x4, so I was able to get two on one piece of paper. But then, like I said, I cut them down even smaller because I wanted them to be square. I just thought it would work better with this layout to have them square. And there was a lot of, there was sky and there was some dirt below the, above and below the truck. And same, there was nothing really, there was more rocks and stuff down at the bottom of the goats. There was so much little extra stuff that didn't have to be there. So it was easy for me to crop down. And that's kind of how I take pictures. I tend to give myself a little extra so that I can crop. So with those sequins, though, so I have the leaf sequin, and then I had another sequin on top of it, and then I put a brad to connect those down, and I did 3 of those around my clusters. And then now I'm doing the gold glitter gems, and I really thought that these just look like they would be the perfect fit for the flowers. And there's both a big and small size of these glitter gems, and they just worked for these flowers so well. So they all got some glitter, so there is a lot of bling going on now, but I just thought it looked really pretty. And then I sprinkled a couple others in the other clusters, and I'm going to bring in some enamel dots next. And these enamel dots was actually part of the Easter collection, the Daisy Meadow, but these colors just keep working in other collections. And I'm not going to use the same color on both layouts. I'm going to use the yellow here on this side and that darker green on the other side, because while these layouts are kind of similar, I didn't want them exactly the same. I thought it would be fun to have some different pops on the different sides. So I got those all put on, and then I thought over on the right hand side there was a little still open space on that ticket. So I just stamped this little heart, kind of curly heart, a couple of times just to give it a nice little element and kind of fill out that cluster. And I really like the way that came out. I love that I got these little owls on here. I think they're so cute. And there's still space over there on the left hand side. There's a lot of open space underneath that top cluster that I can write some journaling. So it all worked out beautifully. So here I'm just giving you kind of a close-up of the 2 layouts. I really appreciate you watching my video. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you did. And I will be making a couple more videos with this particular pattern papers, with some more of the pattern papers from the collection. I hope that you have a very creative day.